I think to prove the point of visibility, there it is. And
Right?
also,
Yes.
right, it's been
Lighting is important, right? And now we don't see, yeah, we're not looking at your glasses thinking
there's something wrong, right? So, and also the whites of my ear pods. The thing I want to say about that though is what I always hide my self-view when I'm on camera, because we naturally look at ourselves, right? That's just a natural part of being a human. And because we're basically always looking for someone like us or someone that's not like us, because one is dangerous and one is safe, depending on how much you love yourself.
Oh, interesting. Yes.
We won't deep dive that today. But intuitively, I had this sense that I needed to put my camera on, which I really just don't do. And Renee, you were being polite and probably didn't go, Sal, what's going on? But, or didn't notice, and that's fine. But subconsciously, you can see the big difference now. So intuitively, I was like, turn your camera on. But I was like, no, I like to listen very intently, so I didn't want to miss what you were saying. And I did. Now I'm going to turn it off again. And there it was. And I think that intuition piece in our journeys is very important. I'd love to talk with you a little bit about what intuitively did you know that drove you to say yes, to be brave, to write a book, because this is your first book, right?
Yes.
And I would just never forget the day that I first really saw you. So we were in a coaching community together, Women Rocking Business, which is fantastic. If you're out there looking, look it up. If you're looking for a container to get yourself started on an entrepreneurial journey, no one's better than Sage Levi. And we were in that community, and in a coaching call, you jumped online. You were called up. And I saw you start to move. A shift happened from who you were in just the trainings and the behind the scenes conversations versus I got to get out there. I remember that moment. I remember that. And I was like, and you see a lot of people say, I'm going to do it. And they go, oh yeah, me. And yours wasn't that. It was like, I've got to do it. And I thought,
yes.
do you remember that moment?
Yes, I do. Well, and in front of everybody, right? This like realization that if I really did want to do it, like it was going to take some real deep work. It was going to take, some courage to dive deep into who I was as a leader, who I was as a writer, who I was,
you were
as a
school teacher at that time.
As an educator, like what, and in order to get to that place that I knew was probably on the horizon, I could catch glimpses of it. I hear the whispers, you're talking about intuition, that nudge that keeps the tap on the shoulder. And it was a moment like that where it was like, it was a surrender. That's what that like, oh, okay, fine, I'll do this. And,
it was the moment of surrender. It was so true and real. And I felt the truth in it. And that's what I say. I see because as a producer and the eye that I watch, I'm very attuned to the subtle shifts of emotional truth. And, you have to be as a producer. You're watching for a performance. Like, is the audience going to believe the actor in that moment, or do we need to reshoot it and cut to a different angle? Like, let's get out and get back in, because that's a lie. So you're looking for emotional truth all the time. And as a mentor and visibility strategist, when I'm working with women, I'm like, that's not truthful. You've got a block there. What's here? What's there? So it doesn't matter what it shows up in. It can be like aha. It can be like, oh, fucking yours was just like, It was so true. And I thought, wow, she's going to do this. And then the next time I spoke to you, you'd taken a sabbatical, right? So tell us. Yeah. So there was that moment. Let's just call that, I'm interested in the origin story of the moment of change, right? Because that's your moment of change. That's your inciting incident. And then what happened? Yeah. Sometimes it is. It's not the big bust or like someone's like, ugh.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, it was like, okay, let's get real. And I had to make the time and space. So I did. I took a sabbatical from my teaching job.
And was that scary and brave? Was that another moment?
so scary, right?
Right?
I'm letting go of consistent income. I mean, talk about, blocks in entrepreneurship, right? Money,
Mm.
brings up all sorts of things, and there's security there,
Yeah.
and um, you know,
Was it a
so
conversation that you had? Like, did you have dependents? Like, tell us a little bit about you. Like, what was that like? Was it a family decision? What was the?
it was
If you're comfortable,
mostly
sorry.
my decision, but with some consulting with others. And I was at a point where I was seeing some things coming in from my own business, and so there was it was a scary leap, but I could see the bridge in the distance. you know it
Yeah.
was I so and with when I first left, it was temporary, so I kind of had this, like, okay, I got this in my back pocket if I really need it,
Yeah.
which
Good.
was helpful. And then eventually I completely um cut the cord, and that was an even scarier moment.
Right.
Because that was the real, and that was, it wasn't even a full year. I think in about 6 months, when I was like, okay, I'm gonna, see how this goes for a year. And within 6 months, I decided to just resign,
Wow.
and go in. Yeah.
So glad you did. So glad I do. I know you change a million women's lives. We don't know how many lives we change in the online world. This is a reality, which is brilliant. And also, I just want to acknowledge that. Like, you don't know at what point in history someone's going to even see this interview now in this day and age and decide to go and find your book. Like, there's
Yeah.
longevity and legacy in this. So congratulations. It must be
Thank
very
you.
exciting. What is the date of the book launch? Just let's we are today we
Yeah,
are
August
Saturday
8th.
26th July, so we're a couple of weeks away.
Yep.
August
Yep.
8th.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yeah.
a
Two
very
more weeks.
auspicious day. My first grandbaby's due on that day, August 8th.
So exciting. Yes, a lot of things are birthing, right? On the powerful portal of 8/8.
I love that. And is
Yeah.
that something that you aligned to as well, or was that just synchronicity?
Um, a little bit of both. When the publisher came back with our timeline, they had the launch date for, I think, 8/5. And I looked at it and I was like, we're really close. We're gonna move this a couple days. And 8/8 this year is a Friday, so we're gonna just celebrate.
Freaky Friday, I love it. And so you've got a
Yeah,
celebration happening so people can come and actually be present to that moment.
I
So we'll
do.
get those links down. You can have a look below and also to everywhere that you can find Renee. And then tell me the situation for you with realizing that the book was going to come. Was that something that was a hidden dream forever? Was it, oh, like what was the genesis for I'm going to write a book?
Yeah, I've always thought, oh, someday I'll write a book. And I'm a writer by trade too, so I've had blogs, and I, did some ghostwriting and editing for other folks. So it's definitely my favorite modality of expression.
Ah,
Um, but around the same time that I cut that cord was also the pathway to the book really opened up, and I got serious. I got real. And I took the things that I'd been, pulling here and there, in little bits, and kind of set in motion, um, the process. I went back and, hired my dear friend and my first writing coach and said, help me just create the outline, and how is this, character arc going to go. And then it took a lot of, each step of the process took a new level of courage, really, because this is a really personal book. It's a self-help memoir. So
got it.
most of the story is about my own relationship to fear, with anxiety, OCD, different diagnoses that, of course, don't define me, but certainly help me understand uh, the brain that I'm working with.
Yeah.
So, which is really helpful. But
What was
so
it? Can we just talk? I'm sure you mentioned it in the
yeah,
book, but were the moments of diagnoses, did it feel helpful at the time or did it feel
it
shocking?
did. Yeah. So there's two kind of different moments. I wasn't diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder until my 30s. But and it went through a variety of misdiagnoses,
Yeah.
essentially. But the way that the OCD thoughts latched on to food safety, actually, so it became a really external thing. And when I was finally diagnosed and I understood more clearly what OCD actually is and not kind of how it's portrayed in, mainstream media, it's not just that we like things organized or clean, right? There's so much more to it. That then looking back on the other moments in my life, suddenly it was like, oh, that's why. Oh, this. Oh, okay. Like everything just became more clear. And I was able to get the kind of, learn the tools and strategies that would really work for me to be able to manage it so much better than I had been.
And what was
So it
the
was,
age that you were? It was a gift. I mean, I do believe like every step, if you're on the path of the curious, every path will eventually show up as a gift, right?
yeah, right.
Um,
Eventually, yes.
if it's staying true to your own North Star. So I'm stoked to hear that you did always think you'd write a book. Um, I think it's amazing that you have. Many people say that and they die and they don't. And so I know you help many women to really find their voice in your group program. And then, walking the talk, I think is so important in this realm of being a mentor. What I call, the series is the role model revolution. So you are a role model to aspiring writers as well, now to people who've been diagnosed with OCD and anxiety. And when did you start to seek help for the symptoms or recognize the symptoms? Is that a part of the story? Do we need to wait for the book for that?
Yeah. Well, certainly different symptoms and things showed up along the way. I mean, even as a teenager, I was pretty anxious and I, dealt with depression, which again, I now understand much differently in light of the OCD diagnosis. So I've been in and out of therapy, talk therapy, and that sort of thing. In my late teens, early 20s. But then, things really shifted. And life changed. I mean, I was 30. I had 3 children. And life was very busy. Um, and and so one of the things that I learned about OCD is that it can evolve over time, and
Right.
so your symptoms do change. So one of the telltale signs on the outside was that because I was so afraid of what was in my food, I wasn't eating anymore. So you do anything you can to avoid feeling unsafe. And so, obviously we need food to exist.
Right.
Um, so I was losing weight and losing weight, and was first diagnosed. They thought maybe I had anorexia, and I was
Right.
like, "This is, yeah." So it took some uncovering, but
Sounds like such a fascinating story, and it is incredibly brave for you to share these ideas, these moments in your life. How does that showing up right now as you get TikTok, TikTok, TikTok towards the clock of the day of the launch, and people what are the 3 anxieties that are coming up about that? Share it with us. Like, what are your 3 major anxieties about launching a book
right, the
today,
3
right?
fears. Well, and this is true for anybody, I think, putting their work in the world is like, is anybody going to like it? How am I, how, you know, who's going to want to read this, right? Like, that's kind of in the same vein of like, um, that's
Do
one
you feel
thing.
that's like imposter, or do you feel that's like rejection? Because
That's rejection. And then the imposter was the next one I was going to go to, because, I don't claim to be a therapist or a medical practitioner. I'm just here like sharing the legwork I did and hoping that it helps somebody else, right? And so, one of the things that I think, kind of comes up, and then, I have a conversation with that part of me that's like, well, but you still deal with this stuff all the time. Like you're not healed, you're not fixed. Like but that's exactly my point, is we don't have to be fixed, and it's not done. I mean, if I was done,
we die when we're done.
Right. Right.
We're done when we're dead,
Yeah, exactly. And so sometimes that, imposter syndrome will come up of like, how could you help anybody else if,
who are you? Who am I to?
Who are you to do this work?
And did that come up also in the writing of it, or was it? And so is it amplified now, or is it like, oh, hello, my old friend? Where are you at? Like, where are you at with the bravery this week? Because you do talk about, we said before we went on camera about, everyday bravery is the theme that you're exploring in the book. And so it's clear title, when I think about Every Day I'm Brave, I identify with the title, which I love, because I do know that every day I'm brave, I get in front of the camera as well. My first experience was a huge shame spiral. And I know that women don't even want to admit they've had a shame spiral. Women don't even want to comment on posts. So if you're watching this and you're enjoying Renee, please leave a comment, like a heart, or drop something here so that we know that we're not into the void. Ask any questions. Renee will come back certainly for the next week or two, and if I see comments that I can't answer, I'll flick them across to her. So it's important, women, that even if you've got a question, a theory, or you want to diss us, that's part of it, is you've got the right to speak your mind. Be kind if you can, and if you can't, be silent, maybe. But we will get haters online. That is a reality. That's the beginning of the real story of Brene Brown, is the shame spiral, and her realizing that it's the people in the field that are doing the work that we listen to, those that have earned the right. Yeah. So, you've earned the right by, I believe, even writing the book. But really what I've seen is you talking about it, promoting it, being in the journey of it. Has that eased it and also motivated you in some way to continue? Like, you can't quit now.
Right. Yes. No going back now. I have definitely had that conversation with myself more than once. All right, we're doing it. Right. It's kind of like the origin story you were just talking about. Oh crap, I guess we're doing this, right? Like, and for me, it softens the experience with the fear, the self-doubt, and the anxiety, because I'm just letting it come along for the ride.
Yep. And so is there a ritual you do to write and stay disciplined? Was there a ritual that you created for yourself, or was it really ad hoc? Like, I have rituals and it's ad hoc.
Yes, both and. It's definitely. I know that I do best when I'm accountable to something and somebody outside of myself. So on the journey, part of it was, certainly my writing coach, and then my editors along the way. Fantastic. So great to have that accountability, that clarity, somebody to, really walk through with it. But it also came from my writer's room. I created the writer's room when I got serious about working on my book. And we meet twice a week, and we set a timer. And I was like, if only one other person shows up, I got to be accountable to that one person. So I find that because I know that if I'm showing up for someone else, and judgment aside, whether that's good or bad, whether I should be showing up for myself in the same way, it doesn't matter. I could spin on that forever. I know that if somebody else is expecting me to do something or be somewhere, that I'm going to do it to a point, obviously, that the thing that I want to be doing. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a practice of and the writers room grew, and we have a beautiful little group that has now been together for 3 years. And
Is that an open thing that people can still join, or is that a closed thing?
I closed new members about 6 months ago.
Okay.
But things are always evolving, so stay tuned.
Yeah. It's my word is evolve, right? That's the name of my program as well, because evolving your visibility and what happens and changes and how we show up, it's like it's not a fixed point until it is a fixed point. I want to just say that the book is now a fixed point, right?
It is a tangible.
Yeah. Right. And so they go, okay, well, that series, this thing is a fixed point, and being okay with that. I am so excited. What other fear that you haven't voiced that you think, you know what, I'm going to be brave and do it now? Because there's got to be another fear that you're not voicing, because there's an endless array in our brain.
Oh, always the next step, the next level. For me, we've been doing this live online thing for a long time. And for me, the next really brave step is to be in front of people.
Oh, hate it. Oh.
And speaking.
People don't know this about me. Go, oh. I need a lot of ritual around me going live on stage. I need, I did my first one. So here's what I can say. Whatever your fear is, get the piece of paper, write them down. Write down every fear. Everything that could go wrong, that might go wrong. And then know that something will, that you haven't seen. So my first one was, and it's a deep story, but I'll share it quickly, was I went on stage and my bra strap was showing when I saw the filmed footage. I've never used that footage. That footage will never be seen. Dead, gone, buried, deleted, out. And I am very put together because of my own historical situations require me to do that in order to feel safe, right? That's my version of whatever, of management. And so for that was a really, 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 I'm such a prude. People don't realize I'm such a prude. And it stopped me from going on stage again. Because I need all of it to be very organized. I need everything to be very organized. I need to have someone that I can say, how do I look? How is it? Is it fine? I've got to be double, triple checks. And it hasn't got to do with vanity.
Right.
It has to do with safety.
With safety.
Of being put together. That I'm not putting a signal out there. And this is a cultural conditioning, but it's so embedded in who I am that I'm inviting some kind of attention that isn't intended.
Yep.
So I'm going to go and start learning how to speak live, because also for me, I see in my path that reality that's happening, and that I want to do it, and I want to reach more people, and I like being in connection with people. So it's how do I do that in a way that is going to be really enjoyable?
Yes.
Not just safe. Yeah. So thank you for naming your fear, and know that you're not alone.
Yes, I know. We seem to be on the same path, but I love that, because I think there's something really potent about seeing it. Like you get these glimpses of this future you. And it feels good, and it feels exciting. And then, of course, it also feels a little scary. So,
and everyday brave, because fear is not going away. I love how you said that. Like, let's let it come along for the ride. Be here with.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable. Yes. Discomfort. Yeah.
This is why we have tools, right? The rituals, the people, the ways in which we can lessen the discomfort and be okay in the discomfort.
And these safe spaces, the visibility lab I do, the Evolve Your Visibility, the Inner Circle, what you're talking about. I didn't realize that you'd closed the writer's room for now, and I'm excited to see and keep watch of what's happening. So where is the main place at the moment where you would like people to follow and find you?
Well, everydayimbrave.com. Certainly all about the book is there. And then
Is it
you can
everyday I, comma, am brave.com, or is it I am brave.com? I'll put it here
uh
anyway, but just,
everyday I'm, so I am
yeah,
the
beautiful.
letter I and the letter
M.
M.
Thank you.
Yes. And then my name too is just my website. So um but yeah, and certainly, follow on the socials, because that's where you're going to get the most up-to-date info and what's happening
So
and
did
all
you
the fun
do
stuff.
Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook,
Yeah.
all of them?
I'm mostly Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to really love the TikTok. I don't know
Ah,
about
beautiful.
you.
There, well, it's definitely a um, space where you can get lovely sound bites and a bit of quick hit inspiration. So I think every day I'm brave, whatever the snippets are from that, you could definitely find more people will be able to find you that way. And I think that's what this is about. And I really hope many people find your book. Tell us also, is it only hardcover at the moment? What's the deal?
So in the US, it is hardcover only. You can find it in your local bookstores. You can order it online. There's multiple ways to purchase. And then international will be a paperback release that you'll be able to get on the 8th.
Oh my God, so exciting. And so when it's going into a bookstore, is there a particular bookstore where you're going to be or?
So it's really one of the best ways, if you want to support your local bookstore, is to call them up and ask if they carry it, and then they'll
Okay.
order it.
Oh wow, thank you. Well, I didn't know that. That's something I've also learned, so that's great as well. So wherever you are, if you still love the feel of paper, I do. I still prefer to get a cup of tea and sit down with a book and read. I'm like that. I do a lot of listening on Audible through my car. I do long distances in Australia to go places and drive. So tell me, is it going to be available as an audiobook as well?
The Kindle version will be available
Okay.
in August, and then I am going to be recording an audio version, but that'll
That is
probably
so excited.
yeah.
What's your biggest hope and dream and vision for the book?
Hmm. I mean, when it comes down to it, if it helps one other person feel a sense of hope and that they're not alone, then it's done its job. And I don't I'm so this is one of the things I fear saying out loud, but I keep hearing, is that it could potentially save a life.
Love that.
For me, my work as an educator, my work as a coach, and just being a person in the world right now, especially where everything is so uncertain, we're losing a lot of people, good people who are really meant to be here and do some good work. And I would love to see them continue their work in this world.
Thank you. And so, do you feel, Renee, it's a very tender, I really feel the depth and weight of that desire for you that the people who are out there struggling come and find hope. Um, who is the book for? Who do you think, when you say that, it makes me think, well, is this for women in their 50s without hope? Is this for, when you say educators, is it for educators to understand their children better? Is it, and please, really, who did you have in mind would be able to find this book?
I definitely think, women in midlife who have struggled. I mean, anybody with a diagnosis, certainly anxiety, depression, OCD. But anybody who's really felt the weight of the world in a deep, dark place. And whether you've come out the other side or not yet, right? And how many times you've come out the other side. because
Is it the kind of book I could give to a friend that I thought was in a struggle, or was that offensive? Is that offensive? Do you know what I'm saying? Now you go
I
to a
do know what
bookstore
you're
and you
saying.
go,
I
you've
don't
got a
think it's,
mate,
I
you've got
don't think it would be offensive, right? Because you could say, oh, this is my friend's story. It really inspired me. Or,
yeah.
I thought,
But I am your
well,
friend,
and the
and so
other
I'm all
piece,
right. But like just a general average person out there that we don't know, like the we don't knows out there, if you're listening
yeah.
and you know someone who is in that midlife dark place. And let's think
Hmm.
about it, right? There's divorce, there's
Yep.
empty nesting,
Yep.
shocking. There's lose your job, there's
Yep.
um, lose your best friends to
Which
cancers.
have all of those are in the book.
Right? This is what I'm saying. So is it if you know or you are someone with one of these things, like
Yeah. Yeah.
that can put you in a place where someone else's story can really go, ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I'm on.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit selfish because I'm a film producer by trade, and I go, so do you want it to ever be a movie? Like, would it be a movie? Should I read it for that? Should I
Ooh,
should I get an option?
that could be fun. I did just film a book trailer, so maybe.
Oh, I love
Um,
it. Can't wait. Where's
yeah.
that? Please send that to me so that I can add it into this with
Yes,
you.
I will. Yeah, it's fresh on YouTube as of like 4 days ago. So,
Oh, I love
um,
it. Awesome. I'll put the
yeah,
link to that too.
yeah, some really great local up and coming filmmakers here in Iowa helped me out with that, and
Oh,
um,
awesome.
yeah, it was really great. It was really great. But one of the things that I wanted to be sure to mention is at the end of every chapter of the book, there are journal prompts. So there's
Ah,
reflections. So it's not just my story, but here's what I learned. And here's an opportunity for you to get curious with your own journey,
love it.
lessons, these themes. Yeah. So, it's really
Great.
for anybody who is willing to start creating a better life for themselves.
Thank you. And so also, I really feel like giving books as gifts as we go into the holiday season in America, and as we start to think about our Christmas stocking fillers for friends, like really, people out there, if you're listening, a kind book, if you think a friend's struggling in some way and you can't get through to them, a book can be a really easy, gentle way to go, this looks interesting. I've had to read myself and pass it on. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm going to leave it there because that's just what I know, Renee. You are a beautiful soul. You've helped me so often, and this showing up just absolutely warms my heart to see women being role models, walking their talk, getting out there and doing this. I can't wait for the success of this book for you. And I'm going to be following and buying. Can I buy it? Like, have you got a link to buy it, or do we have to wait for the launch?
Um, for Australia, the link should be ready on actually next week.
Okay,
So,
great. So,
although I've had some people just go to Amazon and they've found it, even
okay.
though they're in Sweden or in the UK, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was happening. So it will for sure be ready for you.
Great.
Yeah.
Congratulations again. I'm so excited for you. Thank you for coming on the Role Model Revolution.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so good to be here. Thanks, Sal.
You got the right to shine. See ya.